Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope we're all keeping well. Listen, these are the 4 problems that every single 7 to 8 figure Muslim entrepreneur faces when they're scaling their companies. Now guys, I've worked with over 800 Muslim founders and our clients currently generate $250 million annually. Trust me when I say, if you do not fix these 4 problems, your company is not going anywhere. Now this isn't theory, this is absolute facts. Client after client, we've seen it. Now, why do clients struggle with these issues? First of all, because they are unable to identify them. And if you can't identify something, it's very, very difficult to solve. Or if you give it the incorrect label, it becomes even more difficult to solve. So we are gonna break down what each one of these 4 problems is, how to correctly identify which each of them are, and then, of course, most importantly, how to solve them. Now, the first problem is a gravity problem. Now, what is key about gravity problems? You need to accept that these are the rules of the game. These are realities that you cannot change, you have no power of. To imagine if I throw my whoop up and, my whoop fell back down. I wanted to stay in the sky. And imagine I spend all day complaining at the fact that my whoop has come back. It's gravity. It's how the world works, right? Perfect. You have the same understanding. These are things like taxes, market cycles, gravity itself. You can't change them. You design around them. Now, this is key. One of my clients, Sherry, he came over to Dubai, right? And when he was in Dubai with us, we're walking through all of the key things in his company, how to scale his company. And he's like, listen, all the markets are down. Look, it's not just our company, XYZ, this is happening in the economy, the taxes, the tariffs, XYZ, everyone's business is down. I goes, okay, perfect. Can you change that? Can you change the current market phase, the current market cycle, or the economy of the US? No, you can't change it. But if you continue to think through this realm of, oh no, this is the way it is, so this is the way it has to be, guess what? You don't achieve results. The best thing you can do is what? You need to design around them, okay? You design around the problem. And that's exactly what we did. Okay, perfect. The economy is the way the economy is. Now, what can we do to change this? Guys, it's so important whenever you have a gravity problem, you need to accept it. The first stage is acceptance. Okay, perfect. I'm not telling you to be in denial, by the way. Accept it. Perfect. Okay, the economy isn't as good as it was. Okay, whatever. In this economy that's not going well, how do we still thrive? How do we still win? That's the key question, right? So guys, these are things that you cannot change. Taxes, recession, who the bloody president is. The best thing you can do is accept them and move on. So the second kind of problems is anchor problems. Now guys, trust me, this is the worst one because if there's something I've seen that leads clients to almost quitting their business or going through some serious issues, it's due to an anchor problem. Now, I'm going to give you multiple examples of this, even with my clients. Now, what is an anchor problem? This is when you have an issue and you fixate a solution. You fixate on one rigid solution. So, for example, I say the only way for me to scale my company is to do absolutely everything myself, right? Or I must be the one closing deals. I actually had a client as well who was a chief executive slave, definitely not a CEO. And, I asked them, okay, why are you doing all these things? Why don't you just delegate them, hire the right people? It's like, no, my clients want me. He'd anchored that the only way for our company to grow and to scale is for me to be the one fulfilling. Now, the issue is, once you anchor to that solution, your mind can't see anything else. It's impossible for you to come up with any other solutions because you've condensed, you've closed your mind to what? To this one solution. I'll give you guys a perfect example of this as well, how I did it in my life, right? I remember when I wanted to rebuild the Live by Design program, I was like, look, I have to leave Dubai and I need to go to Morocco. Okay, now, while sure that's a possibility for me and it was something that was relatively easy, it was still me fixating the only way for me to build LBD is to leave Dubai. No, I could have just, changed certain things about how I was living in Dubai or changed my area, etc. and built the program anyway. Now, the issue is with sometimes when that solution isn't currently feasible, it stops you from acting. So if you can't currently actually implement that solution, then what you become is stagnant. You don't do anything because it's like, I can't do anything. It's just this only one thing I can do. And that client who was about to close her business down, you know why she was about to close it down? Because she started to face serious issues with her health, right? And she was like, Fawaz, my business is now getting in the way of my health, so I think I have to close my business down. I'm like, no, you don't have to close your business down. What you need to do is restructure and redesign your business to where you can still take care of your health, you still succeed health-wise, and your business is still growing and it's still thriving. And by the way, shock horror, it's possible, right? So a lot of the times we've anchored our problems to what? To a specific solution. And that's what stops us from really thriving. Now, the third type are structural problems. Now, structural problems are when your systems actually begin to choke your output, okay? This is when the issue is with the structure, with the company itself. Now, this is when the system itself is broken. So sometimes I get clients coming to me and they're like, you know, Fawaz, I feel so lazy. I'm like, you're not lazy. You can't build a 7-8 figure company if you were lazy. It's not possible. You wouldn't have been able to build a company this size if you were a lazy human being. The issue isn't that you're lazy, it's that you don't have systems to recover, systems that regenerate your energy. What you're facing is fatigue, right? And Yasin, one of my clients, is a textbook case. He thought, Fawaz, I'm unmotivated, you know, and my company isn't thriving, etc. But once we audited his company, the truth was obvious. No routines, no delegation, a calendar full of chaos. He can't thrive. His business will never be able to scale if there is structural issues that are choking his output. It's like I see founders, they're spending so much money, throwing so much money in ads, in all of these things, and they're like, whoa, why aren't things scaling? Why isn't? Because guess what? The problem, the structure is broken. It's like me trying to race. You know, I can have the best engine, the best car, but if my wheels are square, like, you know, we have a structural problem here. Cars aren't going to be able to go as fast as possible with square wheels. You need round ones, right? So this is when your system is choking your output. This is when you need to audit your system. You need to look at your system and change it. Now, an example I've seen so many times is chaotic founders. They have chaos in their lives and they're wondering why their companies aren't growing and thriving. Well, guess what? Your system is only as good as you. Your company will only operate as well as you do. So if you have chaos in your life, then guess what? Your company is going to have chaos too. You're not going to be able to scale. If there's no workflows or SOPs in your company, again, you can't have the highest output. So it's when your system, now, the issue is here, people think it's their strategy or it's the way they're doing things. There's nothing wrong with your strategy. It's your structures and your systems have limited the capacity as to how successful you can actually be. Now, guys, in truth, this is literally why our clients, alhamdulillah, from Allah's fadl, 3 to 10x, without us touching the marketing, ads, or any of those things, because they already had potential for great output. All we did was come and fix the structure and the systems in their lives, first of all, and also within their businesses. Now, the last and final problem, and trust me, guys, the reason I left this last is because people believe this isn't an issue. But trust me, as you climb new levels, there is always going to be new devils. And the truth is, you will face identity issues as you start to grow, as you start to thrive. This is when your beliefs no longer match what your business needs you to believe. When that old version of you is not going to be the person to get you to this new level, right? And this is why I always tell clients, right? In order to get to the next level, a new version of you is required. The old you can't get these new results that you desire. There's certain things, there's certain beliefs that got you to where you are now that you're actually going to need to abandon and let go of if you want to get to the next level. Crazy, right? The very thing that got you here, if you want to get to the next level, you're going to have to abandon those very beliefs in order to get to the next level. So who you believe you are determines the ceiling. Now, guys, if you look at it, water technically doesn't have a shape. And this is how I always break this down. By the way, it's San Pellegrino sparkling water. Don't be, fearful of anything. But if I had to use this as an example, right? Water technically doesn't have a shape. Water takes the shape of what you fill the water into. A lot of the times you are like this, right? The reason you can't scale or you can't grow is because you've shaped yourself, you've condensed yourself to what? This shape, this belief that you have, this identity that you have, and you're unable to grow past that identity. It's like a king who maintains the thinking of a what? Of a soldier. Your company will not be able to outgrow your self-image. One of the greatest examples of an identity that we have to let go of if we want to scale to the next level is this hustler mindset. Right? I just realized I was flipping spelled wrong, but this hustler mindset, this belief that I need to hustle and I have to be the one putting in the most hours in the company in order to get the company to scale. That very belief is the thing that is stopping your company from growing. That identity that you hold as being the problem solver, that very belief is what is stopping you from scaling to the next level. Now guys, one of my clients who lives in the UK, he actually has a gas and electric company. He's a perfect example of this. He kept failing not because he lacked intelligence or resources. His identity was still the operator. I'm still the one who needs to get every single thing done. I'm still the one who has to do that. And when I was pulling him out of the business, he was like, no, this doesn't feel right. Right? So my point is, guys, trust me, when it comes to the biggest work we do for our clients, trust me, it's these two, okay? The structural problems and the identity problems, and these are the two biggest reasons entrepreneurs struggle to scale. Now, guys, not all problems are equal. You have to understand that if you just incorrectly diagnose a problem, you can waste millions of dollars and years, and trust me, we've seen it with clients, but when you diagnose the problem right, you scale with clarity and barakah, and you live by design. So, guys, just to quickly summarize, gravity problem, you accept and you design around them. Anchor, cut it loose. Structure, you need to rebuild. You need to, fix your systems. And if it's an identity problem, you simply have to evolve. Okay? Now, easier said than done, but bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, this is why we work with our clients with the Live by Design program. If you're interested in scaling your company and getting to the next level, on average, our clients 3 to 10x in revenue within 90 days because we help them structure themselves, their calendars, their lives, and in return, their company scale. If you're a Muslim entrepreneur doing over 100K a month, you cannot scale using the same system that got you to where you are now. You need to upgrade yourself as a founder. This is the exact same thing we've done for all our clients, and they've been able to 3 all the way to 10x in revenue. So if you would like us to do the same thing for you, then click the link in the description down below now.